Hello and welcome, everyone. We are live. My name is Andrew, and I'm part of the marketing team over at SE Ranking. And today I am joined by Amir from Uscreen. I will say a couple of words about him a bit later on. Welcome, Amir. Good to have you with us. Before we start, let me just tell you guys what is going to happen. So I'm going to give the word to Amir in a couple of minutes, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the very end. So if you have any questions, just throw them into the chat. And just to make sure that everyone can see and hear us, can you guys let us know? I already see people saying hi, but now I just want to make sure that everyone can see and hear us. So if you can let us know where you guys are joining us from, and we will know that we are good to go. Okay. Yes. Okay. We got a response from Nazim. Thank you. So I'm guessing the quality is good for everyone. All right. So before I give the word to our expert for today's topic, which is how to dominate YouTube and Google search results. So basically YouTube SEO, we're going to focus on this. So you obviously, a lot of people use video content nowadays to grow their businesses. And if you want to get in front of more people, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to talk about specifically this topic. So YouTube is the world's most popular video sharing site and the second most visited website. On its own, the platform presents a massive opportunity for video creators to reach global audiences. Combined with the power of YouTube's parent company, Google, that opportunity increases exponentially. We all know that the relationship between Google and YouTube started way back in 2006. And since then, YouTube has grown to become one of the world's largest search engines, second in size only to its parent, Google. Today, both YouTube and Google's algorithms present content according to relevance and importance. This means that just as Google finds a page with lots of visitors, YouTube prefers videos with lots of viewers. And whenever possible, Google serves videos results from YouTube before serving videos from other host websites. So I'm not going to say a lot more about the topic. I'm going to give that honor to our guest, Amir Shahzeidi. And let me say a couple of words about Amir. He is the SEO lead at Uscreen, an all-in-one video monetization platform that empowers video entrepreneurs and creators to monetize their content and build thriving video businesses. Amir is an omni-channel SEO specialist. He loves teaching creators how to leverage YouTube to boost their reach, build an online audience, and get more views. When he's not running circles around YouTube's algorithm, you can find Amir playing the piano, composing music, playing board games, and doing a whole lot of other things. All right, Amir, I'm going to give you the word, and looking forward to the Q&A, guys. So make sure to ask your questions during the presentation. All right, Amir, off we go.
Thank you, Andrew, and hello, everyone. Okay, so let's jump right into it. We have 30-40 minutes, and I really want us to get through a lot of different things about YouTube SEO algorithm, and how everything works out. By the end of the webinar, I really want you guys to understand the YouTube algorithm, the metrics that you really need to pay attention, and how you can optimize your videos for those metrics and for better ranking, so you really scale and supercharge your YouTube SEO strategy and Google. All right, so let's jump right into it. So let's start with YouTube algorithm. YouTube actually has multiple algorithms when you think about it. It has your organic search algorithm, where user comes to the platform, they enter their query, and they get a result of multiple videos. And they have a lot more advanced algorithm, like the suggested views that you would see on the video page, the recommendation, the notification, trending, and more. To do that, YouTube just eats a lot of data points, and it's pretty much over 80 billion data points with B from users to understand their viewing habit and to understand, okay, what is this user more likely to watch next? And because of that, YouTube SEO is going to be so much different than Google SEO because there's a big emphasis on personalization and user engagement. Now, to understand how YouTube does that and how the algorithm works, we need to understand what YouTube's mission is. What do they want us to do? The mission of YouTube as a platform is to keep users happy and on the platform engaged for long periods of time. So they really want you as content creator, as business, to keep the users on the platform. Now, as businesses, we may want to have a lot of CTAs. Maybe we want to be very promotional, sometimes salesy, push people off the platform. So we'll have to sort of balance that out and understand the YouTube's mission and playing to that, and as well as our business goals. Now, to achieve that mission, YouTube does two things, right? So firstly, it understands the user's viewing habit. It gathers a lot of data on the user, who that user is, where they're from, what language they speak, what videos they watch, what they search for, and what they engage most with. And then they also do another thing, which is understanding the content that you're creating. They do a lot of advanced content recognition using Cloud Vision AI, which we'll get to in a minute. And they also do the basic stuff of understanding the on-page content, like video titles, your video description, tags. They also in certain languages, they're really good at that they have the auto close caption, so they understand what the actual context of the video is, what the person in the video is talking about. And they also gather a lot of metadata from the thumbnail, videos, analyzing each frame of your video. Then they can sort of paint this clear picture of, hey, this is the context, this is the topic of your content. And then they understand also their own users, so they can really match those well. And that goes also with YouTube SEO, because YouTube, again, wants to keep the users happy. So whatever the user searches for, they want to show the video that is very likely for the user to watch and also stay on the platform. So they want the higher session times, essentially. So this is how the Cloud Vision AI works. I think a lot of folks in the SEO industry have seen this, that Google also uses this tool because it's their own tool that analyzes frames, images, and they can label them. For example, they can understand the objects in a video, in a frame, in an image, the faces, text, emotions, all of that. And you can see that it's recognizing the content of the frame, and here even the text. And you can also try this yourself. It's very interesting. So YouTube's algorithm and Google's is very right now crazy advanced, and they really understand the context of your videos. Now we have a good idea of what YouTube's mission is. It wants users to stay on the platform, to be happy, engage, and watch videos for hours long. They don't want people to click off. They don't want them to be to move to another social media or another website. They want them to stay there. That's how they make money. That's how they serve advertisement, or maybe they upsell people to their YouTube Premium. So they anyway make money, creators make money. That's how the engine essentially works. Now, the question is, now that we know that, how can we as brands, as content creators, use this to boost our reach using YouTube SEO? Now, we need to talk about 4 main metrics when it comes to YouTube SEO. There are a lot of metrics. YouTube has a really advanced built-in video and user analytics. It's amazing. the amount of info that you get. But there are four main metrics that I feel like essentially tells us how our videos are performing and what we can do to improve that. So YouTube likes them more. It starts to show it to more users on the platform. It starts to essentially supercharge their reach by suggesting it, by recommending it, and notifying users, and so on and so forth. These metrics are click-through rate, so CTR, APV, which is average percentage viewed, AVPV, average views per viewer, and the percentage of impressions that you're getting from YouTube recommending your content. So these metrics sort of build on top of each other, and you get to the last metric, and we'll go through each one step by step, and then I'll also have tips on how you can actually improve and optimize each of your videos for each of these metrics. So let's dive in. All right, so let's start with click-through rate. CTR is really important, and I think with anything marketing, CTR is generally really important. Even if you're optimizing a blog post, you want people to click on your post on the SERPs. If they're not clicking, then there's no point in SEO essentially. So on YouTube, actually, CTR plays a bigger role, because CTR is how Google says or YouTube thinks that, hey, my algorithm is working because the user actually is engaging and clicking on the videos that I am surfacing to this user. So as a brand, as a creator, again, this is a really important metric to keep your eyes on and really pushing for more CTR. CTR has different elements that sort of help you get more clicks on YouTube, and the two main elements are your video title and thumbnails. If you're just getting started doing YouTube, or strategizing, planning your videos, and you're not sure how the users in that industry maybe are engaging with different videos, it would be a good idea to do some maybe research and look at your competitors, you look at other creators in your niche and see how they are sort of showing off their videos. What type of video titles do they use? What type of thumbnails do they use? What are the colors? Now, both of these are really important, and we need to take a close look at each of the elements. Video title is essentially the same as your SEO title on a blog, but this is for video. It's very important to similar to any blog post or any other title, to keep it concise. So you don't want it to be like 100 characters. You want it to be 50, 60 characters max. You don't want that to be long. You don't want it to be super short. You want it to be long enough to sort of keep the user attracted and clicking on your title. So keep it concise. Around 50 characters in my experience is really good enough. Numbers is something that I've seen work really well. For example, 5 ways to make money on Facebook. We could say, for example, how to make money on Facebook, but usually when you add a number, that improves the CTR. Or how to get your first 100 backlinks. You could also say how to get backlinks, right? But the number sort of makes it stand out. People tend to click on those titles more. Another element is use questions. So questions is something that really does impact the CTR. For example, can you rank a new website? Yes, here's how. Instead of like a very generic normal title, you could sort of play around with those questions. And you can also really target a pain point and offer a solution. For example, slow website, here's how to speed up your site. And you can sort of actually put all of these together to have something like slow websites, here's 5 ways to speed up your site, something like that. And you're putting all those best practices together for the best results. Capitalizing your words is something that I've seen work. For example, best, you, all capitalized or something like that. And you'll see a lot of that on YouTube. A lot of YouTubers do tend to use that, and it actually does help. I guess users do like capitalized words for some reason. And also use attention-grabbing and power words. Similar to any copywriting, you want to use power words, you want to use attention-grabbing words like best, now, top, wow, etc. So these are just some best practices, tips to help you make your title more click-worthy. Now let's get into the more difficult element of the CTR, and that's thumbnails. Thumbnails, I feel like we should have a complete webinar talking just about thumbnails, because thumbnails and thumbnail design is its own science. It's very difficult, and you may design the best thumbnail, but your audience may not actually engage with it. And it's a very interesting thing to experiment with, look at how users are clicking on and engaging on with your thumbnails and improving it. It usually differs from industry to industry, niche to niche, and user to user, age groups. People tend to click on and engage with different thumbnail images. Sometimes different colors attracts them more. So it's really different based on a variety of different elements. But we know a few things just generally about video thumbnails and how we can improve those clicks and get more clicks on the thumbnails. One of the main things is using faces. That's just something that has been proven time and time and again, that if you have a human face on a video thumbnail, people tend to interact with that more and tend to engage with that video more. So you can see this example from Ahrefs, and it's very cool. They have Samo's face on. And another best practice is to use distinctive brand colors. I guess that depends between creators and brands, but it's important to keep your thumbnails somewhat consistent to create a habit of users knowing that this is a video from your brand, from your channel. For example, at Uscreen, we have this blue branded color, and you can see that color in the majority of different thumbnails that we use. We have our logo. Sometimes we have, sometimes we don't. We do a lot of tests, but one thing is consistent, our branded blue. So everywhere when the user sees that branded blue, that's Uscreen. And we keep that very consistent throughout our channel and throughout the educational videos that we create. Another item is including attention-grabbing text. Text actually does help a lot. You shouldn't really use a ton of text in a thumbnail image, but in this case, you can see, for example, make more money, and it sort of drives the message, sell your subscription, trends to watch, which is best. The other thing that we went through, actually, YouTube does use Cloud Vision, and they do collect metadata from your thumbnail. So they're actually looking at your thumbnail, understanding the context of it. So they are annotating all these text, understanding what text is used, what is inside your thumbnail. So you can somehow use that also to your advantage by including keywords or relevant words to the query that you're targeting. Now, the other item that usually I've seen, and it's funny, but it does actually increase clicks, is circles and arrows. It's interesting because it sort of pushes the viewers eyes into a certain spot into the, on the image, and I guess that sort of engages and pulls in the viewer. But circles and arrows do work, and you can use them in your thumbnails. You can see here an example from Nick Nimmin using that. And showing actions. This is a few examples from Mr. Beast, but this type of fun thumbnails usually are very, very impactful and do actually work. So you can use that. I suggest using a tool like TubeBuddy to do a lot of A/B testing, doing a lot of version testing, seeing what actually impacts your audience, target viewers, and building on top of that. It's not going to be an easy do it one time and forget about it thing. You need to constantly be experimenting and constantly improving your thumbnails. It really impacts your channel growth and success. Now let's move on to the next metric that we need to really optimize for, and that's average percentage view. This is a really important metric because it actually is a metric that tells you as a creator or brand or YouTube if a video is performing and keeping audience engaged. This metric is essentially the percentage of average percentage that your videos are being watched. So as users drop off, that percentage goes down. It's a very difficult metric to really build towards. Generally, I would say that your goal should be to get 50% of your viewers through 50% of your video. So you would have an average percentage viewed of around 50%. The higher is better. Usually really good creators on YouTube are aiming towards 70%, but that's a really big goal. I would say that a lot of brands and maybe early creators would struggle with this. Maybe you start with 10%, 20%. But it's important to look at that metric and really dive deep into your analytics, see where are the drop-offs, what you do in that instance that you see the users dropping off, what you're saying, what you're presenting. I also have a few other tips here to help you improve your average percentage views, so we can take a look at those. A really important element when it comes to your audience retention is the start of your video. You want to hook the audience, you need to share your message first and keep them engaged. The first 10 seconds and 30 seconds are extremely important. This is where you lose most of your viewers, and you should really invest in that 30 seconds. If you perfect that 30 seconds, the rest would be much, much easier. A lot of brands do use a lot of logos, a lot of generic intros, flashy animations, all that stuff. I would say, put that aside. If you are showing people something, if you have a message to share your message first. Hook users with a really good intro, and then continue offering value throughout your video to keep them hooked and engaged. Another thing that you can do is actually using pattern interrupts. People tend to drop off when things are really constant, and the video it may get really slow. You're not moving your camera, you're not showing B-rolls, just one person talking to one camera with one angle. That gets boring. People want they need to be kept engaged. So you need to really use your editing skills, or use pattern interrupts to keep users engaged. That can be just zooming in, cropping in on your face and cropping back, or showing graphics, showing B-rolls, and and all of those things that can actually keep users happy and engaged. The thing is that you need to go through your videos and look at where actually you're spending a lot of time unnecessarily, and keep those short and keep the users watching. So that's that. And the next one that is also extremely important, as mentioned, the first one, you need to deliver on your promise. So if you make a promise that, hey, you're going to learn this by the end of the video, you actually need to deliver that. You need to keep the users engaged and keep the video concise. Every second of your video count. So you need to use that really well and keep the users engaged. Don't make the video too long unnecessarily. Don't have long CTAs. Use the time that you have with your audience and use it well. Now, we went through CTR, which is click-through rate. You got the user clicking on the video. We went through the audience retention, the average percentage viewed. You now have an idea of, okay, how much of my videos are actually being watched and what I can do to improve that. Now we're sort of zooming out. The next metric is average views per viewer. Now, this metric is also, again, very important because this number tells us how many videos an average user watches on your channel. A lot of people may be, around 1, 1.1, 1.2, but you want that number to be much higher. Again, top creators see anywhere from 7 to 10 AVPV, which means that a user tends to watch, for example, 6, 7 videos on their channel. And that should be your goal. You need to keep the users engaged. You need to keep them on the platform, watching a lot of your content, consuming that. And that tells Google, YouTube, that your videos are actually performing because you're contributing toward the mission that YouTube has. You're essentially making money for YouTube because you're keeping users engaged and happy on the platform. So this is another metric that is really important for you to track, and it should be one of your goals. Now let's talk about how we can keep users watching more content on our channel. So now in the previous section, we talked about the audience retention. That helps a lot when you are really actually hooking your audience, delivering on your promise and delivering value. That helps this, but we can do more. To increase your average views per viewer, you really want to have a complete strategy. You need to understand your audience, who you're targeting. Now, with your content strategy, similar to any content strategy for the blog, you want to understand your audience. You want to understand who you're trying to reach, what your value proposition is, what are the problems that you're solving, whether it's a brand, it's a service, a product, what is that? And how old is your audience? This type of info really helps you build that target audience persona that you can then use to optimize your thumbnails, your video titles, your topic ideas, all of that. The other element is to leveraging content loops. You want to create a series of videos that are generally around one main topic. When you do that, you can actually have a lot of CTAs to push people to watch your next video. You could maybe create playlists. But when you're thinking about your content strategy on YouTube as a content hub, as a content loop, you really start thinking about, okay, how can I keep users watching more of my content, and how can I give them more value around that topic, around that pain point that the user has. Then you can use playlists to curate your content, and playlists do help with the AVPV, because user sort of goes through your content, maybe your library A to Z. You know, they go through each of that content loop pieces, and that helps. And also, playlists do have SEO value. They can rank on search, so you can use playlists. And to build on top of all of that is using your end screen. So your YouTube end screen really is very important, because it's a tool that you have to, you know, the last 5-10% of your audience, to push them watching another video. So you need to use that strategically. You need to be creative with that and push users to watch other relevant videos on your channel. By now, I think we went through a lot of different things really rapidly, but understanding your audience, you know, optimizing for better CTR, optimizing for better audience retention, and getting people watching more content on your YouTube channel already is helping YouTube suggest and recommend more of your content. When it comes to YouTube SEO, it's very interesting, because as SEO is a good channel or a good tactic to build your YouTube audience, but it's not scalable. YouTube SEO alone won't get you, you know, 1 million subscribers or 500,000 subscribers or anywhere close to that. It won't do that, because you're only optimizing videos for search. And as powerful as that is, it won't get you to that scale alone, but it can get you somewhere, right? So as you optimize for those metrics, what will happen is that YouTube will start liking your content, and because of that, it will start suggesting your content to similar audiences with similar tastes to your target audience, the audience that you've built. And that was pretty much it for the 4 metrics. So we have CTR, we have average percentage viewed, we have average views per viewer, and then we have number of impressions, percentage of impression that you get from YouTube suggesting your content. So those are the main 4 metrics that you need to really track, aim for, and optimize for. You could say that they're maybe similar to your DA or DR on Google, but those are really the 4 metrics that allow you to understand how you're doing with your YouTube SEO strategy. Now let's take a step back, and I really didn't start a webinar with the on-page SEO stuff, because I wanted to focus on what YouTube really wants you to do as a YouTube channel, as a creator on the platform. But the on-page SEO stuff, you know, all that is important. It adds a lot of metadata to YouTube, and for YouTube and Google to understand what your video is about. But if you're an SEO, you probably, this is probably very easy for you, because it's really not rocket science here. It's very basic in compared to, you know, optimizing for the 4 metrics that we.
Oh, something happened, guys. We're gonna let's wait for Amir. Maybe his internet connection got lost. But in the meantime, we're almost at the very end of Amir's part of the presentations. Oh, so if you have any questions, you should prepare. You should start preparing them, so that we have more to focus on in the Q&A. Yeah, let's just hope that nothing serious happened to Amir. Yeah, it's excellent time to bring the sexy back. I'm I wish I could use this opportunity to show off my singing skills, but I'd rather not. I'd rather wait. I'd rather have Amir back with us. So I'm looking. f- yeah, I'm going red, of course. So let's, where is he? I'm gonna try to text him in the meantime. Sorry, guys. I just hope that he knows that he's not in the presentation anymore. Let me just, one sec, guys. Yeah, this is the first time that this happened, like during the presentation. I had one time that my audio dropped off, and the expert had to do all the Q&A himself. So I'm just hoping that this is not the end. Yeah, I appreciate you guys not leaving the second Amir left. So if you just stick around for a minute or two longer, I'm guessing he's going to be here. In the meantime, I can show you a small part of SEO ranking, how you can work with YouTube, check your rankings, and get keyword suggestions. So if you can see my screen, so we have, this is the main dashboard. We have a couple of projects added to this account, and here we have a YouTube channel. So I'm just gonna click on what happened. I hope this is not my problem. I mean, you guys are here. Hold on a sec. Something went wrong. This is not supposed to happen. Just bear with me, guys. I'm almost one more click and we're back. Let me just quickly check that Amir. He's still not here. One sec. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. So we have a project, YouTube. We added it a while ago, just to show you guys how everything works in SEO ranking. So once you add the project successfully, you can just add all the keywords that you want to track, and you can conveniently just see their rankings, the search volume. You have a lot of different filtering options that you can play around with columns. You can see the traffic forecast. So basically, this gives you an opportunity to see and analyze all of your YouTube keyword rankings. And the way you add this is just once you when you start creating a project, all you have to do is enter the link to your channel or video on YouTube, give it a good name and so on, and then go to the keywords, add all the keywords. And once you do that, click on to the third step, which is the search engine. And what you have to do here is just choose YouTube from the list of available search engines. And then you can just select your region. Okay, the United States. I have no idea why something supposed to be here. Hold on one sec. What? No, this is not supposed to happen. For sure, something because we already added one for United States. That's the problem why we can't do it again. So as you can see, you can just add a search engine and track the YouTube on different countries, and that's it. And the other thing that I wanted to show you, let me just quickly see if Amir is back. Yeah, maybe there's a blackout. I'm thinking because he's not here, not responding. One sec, guys. And the other thing I wanted to show you is how you can fill your project with keywords, how to expand your keyword list, knowing how to track and how to target your videos on YouTube. So we have a couple of tools in SEO ranking that are not linked to any project. You just go to the keyword research tool, write, for example, a video. I'm gonna keep it simple right now. So as you can see, we have the US, so nothing is broken, and you have the other countries as well. And what you do here is you go to keyword suggestions for the keyword video, go to the filter, and we have SERP features. And what you do here is select the video SERP feature from Google, and it will show you all of the keywords that are related to this specific SERP feature. And as you can see, right now, everything changed in the list, and we have a list of similar, related, and low search volume keywords. And you can just use this list to expand and see what is relevant to you. Of course, This list is generated as a result of the filter plus the keyword that I use. So obviously you're going to have something different in your topic. Let me just quickly see if, oh, he's back. I'm bringing in, he's back. All
Oh my
right.
God. Well, I don't know what happened. I thought
No,
that I'm still talking.
I was able to keep the crowd engaged. Thank God. Thank God you're back. Okay, so I already showed a part of SE ranking. I just have one more second there to go, but I'm probably going to show that after you are done with your part of the presentation, Amir. So please continue.
Can you tell me where I dropped off?
Yes, if you share your screen, I can tell you where you dropped off. It was, I think you got to keyword research. You basically the 31st slide, I'm guessing. Yeah. So we ended on the on page SEO slide, and then you just dropped off.
Here, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Sorry, everyone.
All right.
I'm not sure what happened. All right. So with keyword research tools, we have a few different tools. I guess the bad thing about YouTube SEO is that you don't have that one main tool that has a lot of those clickstream data that gives you a lot of search volume. And one of the main tools that I personally use a lot is TubeBuddy, and it has a lot of good features like A/B testing thumbnails, auditing your channel thumbnails, channel management, and also it has really good keyword research tool that allows you to see how much search volume you would be getting, your competition, and so on. So it's a really good tool, and you can use it. I think they have it. They have a free plan that you can try out. Keywords Everywhere is a Chrome extension. I think a lot of SEO are familiar with it. It has a really good keyword research tool on YouTube as well, and it also can, if you click on find more YouTube keyword, it gives you sort of a really long list of, it generates a long list of keyword ideas for your YouTube SEO. And YouTube also has a really good search auto suggest, so you can actually start typing your target keyword, and then it sort of generates a lot of suggestions for you, similar to how Google does, and it's very powerful. I wanted to also leave you with 2 final tips to supercharge your SEO, YouTube SEO strategy. And the main one that I would say is that prioritize keywords with Google ranking opportunity. When you're doing your keyword research, emphasize and prioritize keywords that have opportunity to rank on Google as well as YouTube. So you double dip in both of the SERPs. Pretty much, I think all their keyword research tools nowadays do have this feature where you can insert your head keyword and look at the similar terms and filter them by video SERP features, and then you enjoy all the keywords that actually have video carousels on Google. You can then prioritize those keywords over the other keywords that don't have that space on Google. So try to going for those keywords that have space both on YouTube and Google, and you can see here how it looks on SE ranking. And the other tip is to be mindful of where you are in your YouTube journey. As mentioned, SEO is not extremely scalable on YouTube. You cannot get anywhere close to 1 million subscribers or those crazy numbers. If you really want to get there, you need to start shifting to optimizing for your audience and your YouTube suggestions. But the thing is that you need to create and build your community, your audience, before getting to that. You cannot skip that part of the journey. So it's important to understand where you are. How many subscribers do you have? How much engagement are you getting? How much watch times are you getting? If it's early in your journey, then focus on long tail keywords with low competition, with opportunities on Google, high search volume. So go for those with low competition, long tail. If you're more in the middle of your journey, you already have 1,000, 2,000 subscribers, you're getting good views, then you can be more competitive. Go for head keywords, go for more competitive keywords. And if you're like, anywhere 10,000, 20,000 higher than that, you shouldn't be putting all your eggs in the SEO basket. You should be optimizing for higher audience retention, average view per viewer. Go for that, improve your audience retention, and maybe create more content that your audience engages with. As your audience engages with those content that may actually not have any search volume because people are not actively looking for it. But as people interact with that and engage with those type of content, Google and YouTube will start boosting that, scaling that, and amplifying your content to other audiences similar to the audience that you've already built on your channel. And Andrew, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but I wanted for you to bring up your last slide, because that's where you have all the info about you, so that people can
Should
see
I
and
show it
start.
now, or do you want me
Yeah,
to
you can just bring it up
add
now,
it?
and
All
I'll
right.
show it as soon as it is time.
All
Okay,
right.
so just to finish the part of the presentation that I wanted to show about SEO rankings. So yeah, we've been tracking YouTube videos and channels for, I don't know, a couple of years now. So ever since I've worked here, this has always been a part of SEO ranking, giving our users the opportunity to track YouTube videos. So the thing that I want to show is the keyword research, how you can make use of filters to find exactly what you need for YouTube. And just by playing around with the keyword, you get similar keywords, related keywords, and as well as low search volume, long tail keywords. Just giving you ideas, different ideas on how you can optimize your content further on. And yeah, so just, and for those of you who might have missed, let me just quickly show you that you can just quickly, easily track the rankings of your videos on YouTube. Just it's a matter of setting up the project and waiting. Like as you can see, we have yesterday, today. We can use the calendar to go back in time and analyze other periods. All right, so that is what I wanted to show about SEO ranking, guys. And now let us do the Q&A. Let us do the Q&A that we have for our expert Amir. Let me scroll back to the top of the chat and see what was the first question that we had.
I see some really good questions here.
Let me see which one was the first. I just wanted to stick to the order and not so that nobody's question is left behind. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to start here. No, let's do the question. Okay, we have a question from Nazim. All right. Any additional tools apart from YouTube to help increase views and video improvements in YouTube?
I think there are a lot of different tools that can help, but I would say instead of investing in a lot of tools to optimize for SEO of your YouTube, optimize for creating more engaging videos. Maybe you want to buy a subscription to a really good royalty-free music. You get quality music. Invest in that. If you can invest in thumbnail design tools or video editing tools, or maybe a better camera. I would say optimize for better videos, better quality. I hope that answered your questions.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Amir. We have another one. So all of the recommendations that you had, do they apply to, for example, this webinar that we're doing right now? Like all the tactics with the thumbnail, the CTR, because this is a live stream basically, but still a YouTube video, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes, pretty much. You do the same thing. You want the audience to be engaged. With live stream, it's probably more difficult. Maybe not everyone wants to watch a 1 hour video. But yeah, in terms of the SEO, it's pretty much the same. You can use the keywords in your title. You write a good description, and if you are creating engaging, valuable webinars, then yes, you're doing the right thing.
All right, cool. We have a question from Johan. Is there an optimal length of time for each video?
It really depends. It depends on your message and what you need to tell your audience. Of course, you don't want to keep them any longer than they have to. So if you can deliver your message in 3 minutes, just the video should be 3 minutes. For people, the creators that are making money on YouTube and using AdSense, then yes, more creators tend to keep users engage, maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes. The more they keep them on the platform, then the more money they could be making. So that impacts it. But again, it's up to you to understand, well, here's my message, here's the video that I want to create, and how long it needs to be. You want to keep everyone on the video engaged to the end of the video. So you'll have to do that calculation.
Thank you. Zenaid is asking, where do you check the AVPV in YouTube Studio?
All right. Let me see if I don't think I can bring our channel up because it will have our company analytics, but it'll be under, I think, the channel analytics, and should be under audience or engagement. You'll find that there.
Okay, so yeah, but let's not share any more of your secrets, your channel's secrets. Okay, let's continue on to the next question. Does YouTube re-index if you go in and change your titles and on-page SEO?
It's a very interesting thing when it comes to indexation of the videos actually on YouTube, because it happens so instantly. When I've seen videos rank on Google SERPs like 5 minutes after the YouTube has been published, the video has been published on YouTube. And Google's own algorithm is not that fast. It can take weeks for your blog post to get indexed. So they're super speedy with YouTube videos. If you change your titles, I think it will take maybe a few days, because they probably cache that video page somewhere. And I've also seen some bugs here and there. But yes, when you update your titles and description, they will reindex it.
What about the thumbnail? Is that also one of the points that plays a factor in the re-indexation of a YouTube video?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know how their system works when it comes to Google having YouTube videos in their database. I don't think it's a traditional indexation system where they index things, because it's so instant that they probably have a system built in where when you make changes, it will appear on Google as well. So with YouTube and Google, both are very instant. When you make changes, they should be happening in a matter of minutes. Maybe when it comes to ranking, then that can take some time, maybe a few days or a few weeks for the system to update and re-rank your video.
I hope this helps. Ellen, thank you. Amir, the next question we have from Eric. Are subtitles a factor for YouTube videos?
I would say it depends. It depends on the language, I would say. I've seen like the auto closed caption that YouTube does is so well done for most American, British English speaking folks, and I don't see adding an actual subtitle file to your video helping that much, because YouTube is already doing that for you. But maybe in different languages, it can actually have that impact. I remember previously, like a few years ago, when YouTube wasn't that good at annotating spoken words, subtitles were making an impact. So I would say maybe in the multilingual space in different languages, yes, that can be a factor.
And also, I had a follow-up question about just multilingual YouTube SEO. So the points that you mentioned are I didn't hear anything concerning language. So is language a factor at all for YouTube?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say YouTube still is focusing on keeping users engaged, understanding. Because let's say even if your video doesn't have any content, you'll see videos trending on YouTube that maybe have the weirdest titles, the worst description. Like maybe the description is empty and the title is just one word, but it's trending. The way that they understand that is that people are engaging with that content, and they can then amplify that content to more people that were engaging with your video. So in multilingual SEO, the best practices remain the same, but maybe YouTube won't be as good as understanding the context of your content, which makes it a bit more probably different. But the best practices are exactly the same. You want to create engaging videos. If your videos are engaging and you can, build your audience, then YouTube will start amplifying it because you're keeping users engaged, and that's what YouTube wants.
Great, great. Thank you. We have a question from Saul. Should keyword research be done the same way as for a blog content?
Yes and no. The general guidelines for the keywords and what keywords are is the same, but on blog you're thinking about the competition as keyword difficulty, how many backlinks do other pages have, and so on and so forth, which is not the same on YouTube, right? On YouTube you are thinking about the competition that you have with your keywords, the quality of the channels that you're competing with, the quality of their videos, how long the videos are, how many views they've gotten. So it is similar, but it is different. Hope that answered your question.
Thank you. We have a question from Lee. What is the minimum time required per video to please the algorithm?
I think the minimum required time is just whatever keeps your users engaged for the longest time. So what you can do actually is that when you're creating your videos and as you're publishing more content, you already build up that history of analytics. You can go back, look at your audience retention, see where you're dropping users. And maybe it's because your video is longer. Maybe you could remove sections of the videos. I feel like a lot of people focus on creating a lot of, especially brands, because they see creators creating 10 minutes, 20 minutes videos. But creators, a lot of them do make longer videos to make more money because of the AdSense. But for brands, it's not the same. You want to deliver your message and just keep users engaged as much as you can. If you feel like, okay, I'm just going off script and cannot keep them engaged for 20 minutes, then don't create a 20 minutes video. Keep it like maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Maybe your educational video is good enough at 3 minutes, and that's fine.
Okay.
So there is no minimum.
Cool. And another question from Zanaid. YouTube understand that. Wait, hold on. YouTube. Let me start. So YouTube understands what we're talking about. Do we have to invest time in creating subtitles?
That depends on you. I would say for the majority of English speaking people and audiences, no. But YouTube also sometimes butchers names and all that, so it's not 100% perfect. Maybe it's 90% perfect, but it's not 100%. If you want 100%, then yes, it's worth investing in creating subtitles. And yeah, it depends on also your audience. If you have people that need more accessibility, then yes, definitely it's good investment.
Does it make sense? This is like I want to piggyback off of this question and say, does it make sense to add subtitles for different languages? Like, for example, the video is in English, but we add subtitles in Spanish or German or French and so on. Does that help in any way? Is that good? Is that something that doing?
I would say it depends on your audience, and I don't know if you've seen, but YouTube also has started actually auto translating a lot of your video titles and description to different languages. I think they're experimenting with it, and it's not set, but they're actually starting to auto translate your titles and descriptions. It depends. If you have a multilingual international audience that you want to reach, let's say you have like a big e-commerce brand that has audiences in different parts of Europe, then yes, definitely it's good investment if you can reach those audiences, and if the subtitles keep them engaged, then YouTube will also start amplifying that content more to that region and those users.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Another question from Arun. How important is the descriptions and tags for YouTube video?
It depends on what you consider important. On YouTube, your video quality is the most important thing, and keeping users engaged and happy. That's the most important thing. If your video, sucks, then you the description won't make any difference. The tags won't make any difference, right? But they do actually help. So regardless of what everyone maybe says about tags not working or description maybe not that important, do spend the time. You've created this big video, you've invested a lot of time creating that, so do invest time also to write a nice description and include your keywords in your tags.
I appreciate it, Amir. We have another one from Eric. Are transcripts important for rankings?
Transcripts, to where to include them, on maybe a blog post or maybe in the description, or are you talking about the captions?
No, I think there's like another thing on YouTube that you can add even a transcript. It's not on all of the videos, but it's one of the features that you can do. You can basically see all the text not as a caption, but like on the right hand side of the video, you have a running text, or in the description. Also, we have a clarification in the description.
In the description. I don't know really. I would be interested to see how much that impacts your rankings. In terms of YouTube understanding your content, they would already understand. As we saw, they use cloud vision. They analyze every frame. They translate and auto caption the word spoken and all that. So YouTube already knows. If it helps your users, maybe add it. If not, I would. If I would be creating transcripts, I would put it in maybe a blog post and then optimize that blog post for a certain keyword and include that YouTube embedded in the blog post. So I would use it like that rather than adding like 2,000 words in a description. That is really not optimized for that long of a read.
Okay, thank you. So another question is for me. As I already showed you guys that you can do keyword research in SEO ranking for anything, including YouTube. So you can catch it in the replay. I'm not sure that I want to spend time on this right now, Froda. I'm sorry, but yeah, you can definitely do this in SEO ranking. It's not a problem. Okay, let's see what other question do we have. Does embedding your YouTube videos on a blog post page on your own website help or improve rankings?
Yes, I would say. I wouldn't say maybe directly it will do that, but the important thing is that if you have an already established blog and you embed your videos into your blog, you're also bringing in more users to your YouTube videos. So YouTube algorithm will start understanding who your target audience is better because they're getting more data points. So it does help. Embedding it on your blog post definitely helps the blog post more, because people tend to, if you have a video, everyone will watch the video. No one will really want to read the 4,000, ultimate guide when there's like a 5-10 minute video. So it definitely helps also with the blog post. it doesn't hurt. So I would say yes, definitely go for it, and do include it on a blog post or any page on your own website.
Awesome. Another question from Eric. Are post times important?
I'm not sure what you mean by post
Oh,
times.
like
Is that
the
timestamps?
publish time when
Ah,
they
okay.
actually
The
publish the
publish
video.
time of the videos.
Yeah.
Yes, they definitely matter. YouTube has really good analytics when it comes to when your audience are most engaged on the platform. So look at that. Look at those numbers. See where it's clear that most of your audience are on YouTube. It depends on from region to region, country to country. A lot of people are more on YouTube on Thursday, maybe, or Friday, maybe Wednesday. Some people are more on on the weekends. See where when your most of your audience are online on YouTube, and publish your videos maybe 1 or 2 hours before that.
Yeah, great. I've even seen a couple of channels have a Q&A session 30 minutes after they publish, so they boost the engagement. They just want you to jump in as soon as they publish that video. And
Yeah.
this is the last question that we have. Let me see. It's, oh no, not this one. It's, do we have to put keywords into the description?
I wouldn't say you have to. It's good to have them, but similar to the blog, you want to include them naturally throughout your description, both your target keyword and their variations. But in 2021, YouTube and Google are so good at understanding the context of your description that in majority of cases you don't really have to do that. But again, it depends on the language. So maybe in some regions it actually helps. So yes, definitely, if you can naturally include your keywords in your description, do it. But if you cannot, don't force it.
Is that the only way that YouTube understands what what the videos are about? Like, does it listen to everything that is being said? What if I have a really poor title and no description at all? How does it know what it's about? How does it know what
It
to ask
listens to
for?
everything you say, and it will analyze every frame of your video. So yes, and also the other thing that they do is, well, I mentioned they analyze every frame. So even if you have like those transitions with words on the frames on your video, well, YouTube will actually extract that and understand, hey, this is the section where this person is talking about this topic. Earlier, I remember like 2 years ago when they started adding the timestamps on Google. I remember 2-3 of our videos, YouTube started generating a timestamp for them and chapters for them on Google, even though we didn't include that in the description. They were taking the timestamp and chapters from the graphics that we were showing on the YouTube. So they were extracting that from the frames, and that's what I mentioned. They're taking so much data and metadata from everything that you have on there, that sort of the title and description becomes secondary, but the title is still very important. Like it impacts your CTR. It's where you can include your keywords. It's where you can. Google also loves the keywords that you include on your YouTube titles, and usually when you have that keyword, they include them in the video carousel. So yes.
All right, thank you, Amir. I'm guessing that nobody else has any questions. So thank you guys for joining us. Sorry for Amir dropping out, but good that you stuck with us until the very end. This was very interesting, and obviously, this is a topic that needs to be expanded more and more. This we barely touched the surface on this, because you can dig into anything. Like as Amir said, thumbnails, that could be a whole different webinar. So let me bring up the. Can you show your very last slide? Yes, please. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is Amir's let me hide the, yeah, okay, now everyone can see the Uscreen website. Amir's LinkedIn. You can catch him on Twitter and ask him for advice or just to discuss anything related to YouTube and videos. So thank you for being here, guys, and thank you, Amir, for for giving your expert opinion and sharing your experience on YouTube SEO and Google.
Thank you,
And
everyone. Thank you, Andrew. And sorry for my drop off. I'll have to look into that. But with any live streams, you'll always have those technical
yeah, but the chat was
difficulties.
lovely. The chat was supporting us, and they were willing to wait for 5 minutes until you got back at least. So that it was. Thank you guys for
Thank you.
being with us. So see you later, Amir. Take care.
See y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.